Okay, so have you ever felt like you were pouring your heart into something,
Uh-huh.
but the numbers just weren't adding up?
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a story
Hmm.
about Natalie and Blake, who own a family-run ornament shop.
All right.
They're facing some serious holiday hurdles, and we're going to unpack their journey.
Okay.
Because hidden within their challenges just might be the key to unlocking new possibilities.
Interesting.
Maybe even for your own ventures.
I think their story is a great example of how, even in tough times, there's often an unexpected path forward.
Totally.
If we know where to look.
Yeah, so picture this. It's the Charlotte Holiday Fair.
Okay.
Twinkling lights, festive music, the scent of gingerbread in the air.
Oh, I can practically hear the carols playing.
Right. But amidst all the holiday cheer, Natalie and Blake are facing a harsh reality.
Oh.
Their booth is beautifully decorated, their ornaments are handcrafted and unique,
Mm-hmm.
but the sales just aren't matching their efforts.
Oh, no.
Bills are piling up, and the future of their shop feels precarious.
Yeah, I can see how that would be stressful.
Have you ever felt that kind of pressure?
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of this story.
Yeah.
It taps into that universal feeling of uncertainty when something you poured your heart into is at stake.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatable whether you're running a business, working on a creative project,
Right.
or just navigating life's curveballs.
And just when things seem bleakest, enter a character with a name that's almost too perfect to be true.
Okay. Who is it?
Mr. Grant Money.
Now, before you think this is just some cheesy holiday fairy tale,
Okay.
let's talk about Mr. Grant Money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with a name like that, he has to be larger than life, right?
He does not disappoint.
Okay.
Imagine a distinguished gentleman in a vibrant green coat.
Right.
Think holiday elf meets successful entrepreneur.
Wow.
He even has a glimmering scepter and a pinky ring.
You can't make this stuff up.
Right.
It's as if hope arrived with a touch of holiday magic.
Yeah.
And I think that's a powerful image to hold on to,
Yeah.
especially for anyone feeling like their own resources are running thin.
So Mr. Grant Money sees the struggle Natalie and Blake are facing,
Yeah.
and he offers them a lifeline they never even considered:
What's that?
small business grants.
Oh, wow.
And this is where things get really interesting because, honestly, when you hear grant,
Hmm.
do you picture a traditional family business like an ornament shop?
Right. Most people think grants are reserved for tech startups or cutting-edge research,
Yeah.
not a craft-based business.
Exactly.
But Mr. Grant Money challenges that misconception.
He does.
He highlights this often overlooked resource, and that's a game changer for Natalie and Blake,
Totally.
and potentially for many of you listening.
It really opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It does.
But he doesn't stop there.
Oh.
Mr. Grant Money lays out some seriously valuable advice on how to actually secure a grant.
Okay.
He emphasizes that it's not just about the numbers, it's about the story.
The story.
You need to connect with the funders on an emotional level. Make them believe in your vision.
It's like what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Storytelling is a powerful tool.
It is.
Whether you're pitching an idea, building a brand, or in
Yeah.
this case,
Yeah.
applying for a grant.
Right.
It's about making people care.
Mm.
And that's what captures attention
Mm-hmm.
and makes your application stand out from the stack.
And he drives home the point that a good story needs a solid plan to back it up.
Okay.
He pushes Natalie and Blake to think about how the grant money would create lasting change,
Mm-hmm.
not just a temporary fix.
Right.
It's about sustainability.
Yeah.
And he even suggests specific areas like investing in digital marketing to reach a wider audience,
Right.
or improving production efficiency to meet growing demand.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the ins and outs of grants,
Yeah.
they're essentially non-repayable funds
Yeah.
awarded by government agencies,
Okay.
foundations, or corporations to support specific projects or initiatives.
Gotcha.
And what makes them so unique is that, unlike loans, you don't have to pay back the money if you're awarded the grant.
That's huge.
It can be a game changer, especially for a business facing financial challenges.
For sure.
And to build on that, there are different types of grants to explore.
Like what?
You have federal grants from government agencies, state grants offered at the state level,
Okay.
and even private grants from foundations and corporations.
Interesting.
Each has its own specific criteria and focus areas, so it's crucial to do your research
Yeah.
and find the best fit for your needs.
That's a really helpful breakdown.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's important to remember, a grant isn't just about receiving funds.
Okay.
It's about a partnership.
Right.
You're essentially collaborating with the grantor
Right.
to achieve a shared goal.
And speaking of shared goals, Mr. Grant Money brings up something that often gets overlooked:
What's that?
community impact.
Oh.
He asks Natalie and Blake,
Oh,
how does your business benefit the community? How are you making a difference beyond just selling ornaments? It's a question we should all be asking ourselves,
yeah.
no matter what kind of project or business we're pursuing.
This is where things get really interesting
Yeah,
because he makes them realize their impact goes beyond just the products they sell.
right.
Their shop provides jobs, supports local artists and suppliers,
Yeah.
and even acts as a community gathering space.
Yeah,
And these are all valuable selling points when applying for a grant.
they are.
It shows you're not just thinking about your bottom line,
Right.
but about how your work contributes to the greater good.
It's about seeing your work through a wider lens,
Uh-huh.
recognizing the ripple effects of your efforts.
Exactly. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking.
What's that?
What if I don't run a traditional community-focused business?
Yeah.
What if my work is more individual or specialized?
Right.
And that's a valid question.
It is.
But I think Mr. Grant Money's advice here applies to everyone.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the value you bring to the table,
Yeah,
no matter how big or small your operation is.
precisely.
Okay.
So ask yourself,
Okay.
how does your work create positive change,
Yeah.
even in subtle ways?
Mm-hmm.
Do you offer mentorship? Do you share your knowledge freely?
I'm interested.
Do you support other creators or businesses in your community?
That's a good point.
These actions all contribute to a larger ecosystem, and that's what resonates with grant funders.
And this is where Blake, ever the pragmatist, voices a concern that's probably on all of our minds.
Oh, what's that?
What if we're denied? What if we put all this work into an application and it doesn't get accepted?
That's such a common fear, and it's important to address it head on.
Yeah, it is.
So what does Mr. Grant Money say?
Yeah, what does he say?
He acknowledges that rejection is part of the process. It doesn't mean your idea is bad or that you're not worthy.
Right.
It's an opportunity to learn,
learn.
to refine your approach, and to come back even stronger.
That's so reassuring.
Absolutely. He also emphasizes that it's important not to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's true.
There are countless grants out there, each with its own unique focus and criteria.
Whoa.
So don't get discouraged if one application doesn't pan out.
Okay.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep refining your approach.
He even compares the grant application process to refining a craft,
Oh, wow.
which is so fitting given that Natalie and Blake are artisans themselves.
It's a beautiful analogy.
It is.
He's essentially saying that each application makes you better, more skilled,
Yeah.
and more prepared for the next opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about persistence, resilience, and that unwavering belief in your vision.
And as Mr. Grant Money is leaving, he shares some parting words that really resonated with me.
Oh, what were they?
He talks about renewal, about leaving a legacy, and about how even amidst challenges, there's always a chance for growth and positive change.
It's like he's reminding them and all of us
Yeah.
that our work has the potential to make a lasting impact. And that's something worth fighting for, even when the going gets tough.
Yeah, it's like he planted a seed of hope, reminding them why they started this journey in the first place. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day struggles that we forget the bigger picture, the passion that fuels our work.
I know, and I love that little detail about his scepter. It seemed to shimmer with every word of encouragement, almost like a symbol of the belief he had in them.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? It made me think about how, even in practical matters like securing funding, there's room for a touch of magic, that spark of hope and possibility that keeps us going.
Right. It's like a reminder that sometimes the resources we need are closer than we think, even if they come in unexpected forms.
Exactly. Now let's step back and think about what we can take away from Natalie and Blake's encounter with Mr. Grant. Money. First and foremost, he opened their eyes to the world of grants. It's a reminder that grants aren't just for big corporations or tech giants.
Right.
There are countless opportunities out there for small businesses, community initiatives, and even individual artists and creators. It's about expanding our perception of what's possible and challenging those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back.
Absolutely. And beyond just being aware of grants, Mr. Grant Money emphasized the power of storytelling in the application process. This is where we move beyond spreadsheets and financial projections and tap into the heart of why our work matters.
Yeah, he really challenged them to think about their why. Why did they start this business? What impact do they want to make? And how does that connect with the values of the grant funders?
It's about crafting a narrative that resonates,
Yeah.
that makes those reviewing your application understand your passion, your vision, and the difference you're making in the world. Because let's be honest, a compelling story can be more persuasive than a stack of data.
Oh, for sure. It's what makes people sit up and take notice, right? It's what makes them remember your application long after they finish reading it.
Exactly. Now, a strong narrative needs a solid plan to back it up, and Mr. Grant Money highlighted this as well. It's not enough to just have a good story. You need to demonstrate that you have a clear, well-thought-out plan for how you'll use the grant money to achieve your goals.
He encouraged them to be specific. How would they allocate the funds? What milestones would they reach? What kind of impact would they measure? It's about showing the grantors that you're not just hoping for the best, but you're strategically planning for success.
And remember, grants are often about partnership and collaboration. Grantors want to see that you're using their funds wisely and effectively to create lasting positive change.
It's not just about what you'll gain from the grant, but how your project aligns with the grantor's mission and values. It's a two-way street.
Precisely.
Mm.
Now, thinking back to Mr. Grant Money's question about community impact, I think it's worth exploring a bit further. Sometimes the impact we make isn't always obvious or quantifiable. It might be subtle, but it's still significant.
Yeah, like the ripple effect we talked about earlier. Sometimes the smallest actions can create far-reaching consequences.
Exactly. So even if you don't run a traditional community-based business, think about the ways your work contributes to a larger ecosystem. Do you share your skills or knowledge with others? Do you mentor aspiring creators or entrepreneurs? Do you support local businesses or organizations?
Right. These actions might seem small in isolation, but they weave a tapestry of positive change. And that's something worth highlighting in your grant applications.
Absolutely. It demonstrates that you're not just focused on your individual success, but on contributing to a larger good. And that can be incredibly powerful.
Now, I know that applying for grants can feel intimidating, especially if you've never done it before. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the paperwork, the deadlines, the specific requirements of each grant, but it's important to remember that each application is a learning experience.
I think Mr. Grant Money's advice about not putting all your eggs in one basket is key here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get discouraged if your first application isn't successful.
Mm.
There are so many grants out there, and each one is unique.
Right. It's about finding the right fit, the opportunity that aligns with your project and your vision.
Exactly. And remember, rejection isn't a reflection of your worth or the value of your project. It's simply a sign that this particular grant wasn't the right match at this particular time.
Yeah, it's like dating, right? Not every first date leads to a lasting relationship, but each one teaches you something about yourself and what you're looking for.
That's such a great analogy. It takes the pressure off and reframes the experience as part of a larger journey.
And just like in dating, persistence is key. The more you apply, the more you learn, the more you refine your approach, the closer you get to finding that perfect match.
It's about building resilience and developing that thick skin that allows you to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth.
I love that perspective. It shifts our focus from fear of failure to a celebration of the learning process.
Exactly. Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to that image of Mr. Grant Money's shimmering scepter, because I think it holds a valuable lesson for all of us, even beyond the realm of grants.
I'm intrigued. What's your take on it?
To me, that scepter represents that unwavering belief in oneself, that inner spark of hope and possibility that fuels our dreams. It's a reminder that even when faced with obstacles and setbacks, we have the power to choose our perspective.
It's about holding on to that vision even when the path ahead feels uncertain.
Precisely. And sometimes that belief comes from within, from our own resilience and determination. But other times it comes from unexpected sources, like a mentor, a friend, or even a stranger with a name like Mr. Grant Money, who reminds us of our potential and empowers us to keep going.
Yeah, it's like that saying, it takes a village. We don't have to do this alone. There are people out there who believe in us, who want to see us succeed, and who are willing to offer guidance and support along the way.
And sometimes those supporters appear when we least expect it, offering a glimmer of hope just when we need it most.
It's like a reminder that we're all connected, and that even amidst challenges, there's a sense of community and shared purpose that binds us together.
Now, before we wrap up this discussion, I want to leave you with a question to ponder as you go about your day. Remember that image of Mr. Grant Money's scepter, how it seemed to glow with possibility and encouragement?
It was such a striking visual, almost like a talisman of hope.
Exactly. So here's my question for you. What's your scepter? What object, image, or idea embodies that sense of hope and renewal for you? What reminds you of your own strength and resilience, even when faced with challenges?
That's such a powerful question. It really makes you think about what fuels your own sense of purpose and determination.
Because at the end of the day, whether we're talking about securing funding, overcoming obstacles, or simply pursuing our passions, that inner spark is what keeps us going. It's what allows us to see beyond the immediate challenges and embrace the potential for growth and positive change.
Yeah, it's like having a compass that guides us through uncertain terrain, reminding us of our direction even when the path ahead seems unclear.
Exactly. And that compass might be different for each of us. For some, it might be a physical object, a cherished heirloom, a piece of art, a symbol of a significant accomplishment. For others, it might be a quote, a song, a memory, or even a person who embodies resilience and inspires us to keep striving.
I love that. It's about identifying those personal touchstones that ignite our passion and remind us of what we're capable of achieving.
Because when we have that clear sense of purpose, those moments of doubt and uncertainty become less daunting. We have something to hold on to, something to ground us when the going gets tough.
Right. It's like having an anchor that keeps us steady amidst the storms.
Precisely. And I think that's one of the most valuable takeaways from Natalie and Blake's story. It's a reminder that even in the face of financial challenges, dwindling resources, and the pressure to keep a dream alive, there's always a glimmer of hope. There's always a reason to keep believing.
And sometimes that hope comes in the most unexpected forms, like a stranger with a unique name and a shimmering scepter who reminds us of the power of storytelling, community impact, and unwavering belief in ourselves.
It's a reminder that we're not alone on this journey. There are people out there who want to see us succeed, who are willing to invest in our dreams, and who believe in the positive change we're creating in the world.
So as you go about your day, keep that question in mind. What's your scepter? What's that symbol that embodies hope, resilience, and unwavering belief for you? And let that image guide you, inspire you, and remind you of the incredible potential that lies within.
Because at the end of the day, we all have a story to tell, a contribution to make, and a legacy to create. And even amidst challenges, there's always a reason to keep writing that story one chapter at a time.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of small business grants, community impact, and the power of unwavering belief. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and perhaps even discovered your own symbol of hope and renewal along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep that spark of possibility burning bright.